German Australians are Australian citizens of ethnic German ancestry. The German community constitute one of the largest ethnic groups in Australia, numbering 898,700, 4.5% of respondents in the 2011 census. It is the sixth most identified ancestry in Australia behind Australian English, Irish, Scottish, and Italian. Demography. The 2011 census counted 108,000 Australian residents who were born in Germany. However, 898,700 persons identified themselves as having German ancestry, either alone or in combination with another ancestry. This number does not include people of German ancestry who selected their ancestry as simply Australian. The 2001 census recorded 103,010 German-born in Australia, although this excludes persons of German ethnicity and culture born elsewhere, such as the Netherlands, Hungary and Romania. In December 2001, the Australian Department of Foreign Affairs estimated that there were 15,000 Australian citizens resident in Germany. According to the 2001 census, the Germany-born are more likely than Australians as a whole to live in South Australia and Victoria. They are also more likely to live in rural and regional areas. It is probable that German-Australian children share this settlement pattern. According to census data released by the Australian Bureau of Statistics in 2004, German-Australians are, by religion, 21.7% Catholic, 16.5% Anglican, 32.8% other Christian, 4.2% other religions and 24.8% no religion. In 2001, the German language was spoken at home by 76,400 persons in Australia. German is the eighth most widely spoken language in the country after English, Chinese, Italian, Greek, Arabic, Vietnamese, Spanish, and Tagalog. Immigration history. Germans have been in Australia since the commencement of European settlement in 1788. At least 73 Germans arrived in Australia as convicts. 1800s Germans formed the largest non-English-speaking group up to the 20th century. 48ers. 48ers is a term for those who participated in or supported the European revolutions of 1848. Many emigrated as a result of those revolutions, in particular, following the ultimate failure of the March Revolution in Germany. A substantial number of Germans emigrated to Australia. See 48ers in Australia. Fleeing militarism. Many Germans had emigrated to Australia to flee the rise of militarism and martial chauvinism in the land of their birth. Indeed, after the unification of Germany under Prussia in 1870–1871, when universal conscription was brought in across all the states of Deutschland, the pattern of emigration from Germany to Australia changed. Instead of the earlier pattern of the majority of settlers arriving in families, young single men started to arrive. Young men who were at odds with the increasing militarization of the fatherland, and also often at odds with the rampant chauvinization of German social life. 1900s. By 1900, Germans were the fourth largest European ethnic group on the continent, behind the English, Irish and Scots. By 1914, the number of German Australians was estimated at approximately 100,000. During both World Wars, Germans were considered an enemy within, and a number were interned, deported, or both. The persecution of German Australians also included the closure of German schools, the banning of the German language in government schools, and the renaming of many German place names, to avoid persecution and/or to demonstrate that they commit themselves to the new home. Many German Australians changed the names into anglicized or francophone variants. After the Second World War, Australia received a large influx of ethnic German displaced persons who were a significant proportion of Australia's post-war immigrants. In the 1950s and 1960s, German immigration continued under assisted migration programs promoted by the Australian government. Between June 1949 and July 2000, Germany was the fifth most common birthplace for settler arrivals in Australia after United Kingdom and Ireland, Italy and New Zealand. By 1991, there were 112,000 German-born persons in Australia. Tourism. Australia has long been a popular destination for German backpacker tourists and students. Education. There are the following German international schools in Australia: German International Schools Sydney, Deutsche Schule Melbourne. German-Australian culture. The Australian wine industry was the creation of German settlers in the 19th century. The Goethe Institute is active in Australia. There are branches in Melbourne and Sydney. Notable Australians of German ancestry.